In the shadows of a forgotten cave a warrior stood. His name was Craver. He was 8 feet tall, covered in dark scales, and his eyes glowed like fire. He was a Krolix warrior, one of the most feared predators in the galaxy. But today, Craver was not hunting. Today he was remembering. In his massive claws, he held a blade. The blade was not ordinary. It glowed with a soft blue light. Strange symbols covered the metal. But one thing stood out, a name carved in the center. The camera moved closer to the blade. The name seemed to pulse with light, as if it was alive. Every warrior of the Krolix species carries a blade. The narrator's voice echoed through the cave. But this blade is different. This blade tells a story of one human who changed everything. Craver closed his eyes. The memories came flooding back. The planet was called Xeron 7. It was wild and dangerous. Tall purple trees covered the land. Strange creatures moved in the shadows. The air smelled like rain and metal. A small research station sat at the edge of the forest. It was simple, just 3 white buildings connected by walkways. Solar panels caught the alien sun's light. Inside, Sarah Chen worked at her desk. She was young, maybe 30 years old. She had short black hair, kind brown eyes, and wore a simple gray uniform. She was a biologist, a scientist who studied alien life. Sarah loved her work. Every day, she went into the forest with her scanner. She studied plants, insects, and small animals. She took notes. She took pictures. She was careful and gentle with every creature she found. She was alone on this planet. Her supply ship came only once every 3 months. But Sarah didn't mind being alone. She had her work. She had the forest. That was enough. But she was not truly alone. In the deep forest, eyes watched her, red glowing eyes. The Krolix predators lived on this planet too. They had lived here for thousands of years, long before humans came. The Krolix watched Sarah every day. They saw her walking through their forest. They saw her touching their plants. They saw her studying their world. They did not trust her. Humans and Krolix had fought wars before. The peace was new and fragile. The Krolix remembered the battles. They remembered the blood. So they watched. And they waited. The forest afternoon one day, Sarah went deeper into the forest than usual. Her scanner had picked up strange sounds. She followed the signal through thick bushes and between ancient trees. Then she saw them, predator cubs. 3 of them. They were small, only the size of large dogs. Their scales were lighter than adults, more gray than black. They played together, rolling in the dirt, chasing each other, making soft growling sounds. Sarah smiled. They were beautiful. She raised her camera slowly, but then she noticed something wrong. The cubs were alone. No parents nearby. No adults watching them. That was strange. Krolix parents never left their young alone. Never. Sarah's smile faded. Something was wrong. Suddenly the ground shook. Sarah fell to her knees. The trees trembled. Birds flew away screaming. The cubs stopped playing. They looked around, scared and confused. The ground shook again. Harder this time, and Sarah heard it. A sound that made her blood turn cold. A deep, terrible roar that came from the darkness of the forest. Something was coming. Something massive. The bushes exploded. A creature emerged from the shadows. It was a void beast. Sarah had read about them but never seen one. The beast was huge, 15 feet tall, with black skin that seemed to absorb light. It had 6 legs, each ending in razor-sharp claws. Its mouth was filled with teeth like swords. And it was hungry. The void beast was the Krolix's ancient enemy. It killed everything. It feared nothing. And now it saw the cubs. The 3 small predators froze in fear. They were too young to fight, too young to run fast enough. The void beast moved forward, slow and confident. It knew the cubs could not escape. Sarah stood up. Her heart pounded in her chest. Her hands shook. She looked at the cubs. She looked at the beast. She looked at the path behind her, the way to safety. Her research station was only 5 minutes away. She could run. She could save herself. The beast wanted the cubs, not her. She could escape, but the cubs would die. Sarah took a deep breath. Sarah had 2 choices. The narrator's voice returned. Run and save herself, or stay and face certain death. What she chose next would change an entire species forever. Sarah looked at the cubs one more time. They stared at her with wide, frightened eyes. She made her choice. Sarah ran, but not away. She ran toward the cubs, toward the beast, toward certain death. Sarah's boots hit the ground hard as she ran. Her breath came fast and sharp. Every part of her body screamed at her to turn around, to run away, to survive. But she didn't stop. The void beast turned its massive head toward her. Its eyes were pure black, empty and cold. It watched this small human running toward. The beast seemed confused. Prey did not run toward death. Sarah reached the cubs in seconds. She spread her arms wide, placing her body between the small predators and the monster. "Get back," she shouted at the cubs. Her voice was strong, even though her hands shook. "Move into the cave behind you." The cubs didn't understand her words. They didn't speak human language, but they understood her tone. They understood her body language. One cub moved first, running behind Sarah toward a small cave opening in the rocks. The other 2 followed quickly. Sarah backed up slowly, keeping herself between the beast and the cubs. Her hand reached for her belt. She had no weapons. She was a scientist, not a soldier. But she had a plasma torch, a small tool she used to cut through metal and rock. It was designed for science, not for fighting, not for killing massive monsters. But it was all she had. The void beast roared. The sound was so loud that Sarah felt it in her bones. Trees shook. Dirt fell from branches. Then the beast charged. It moved fast, impossibly fast for something so large. Its 6 legs pounded the ground like thunder. Sarah pressed the button on her plasma torch. A thin beam of bright blue energy shot out. She aimed it at the beast's face. The beam hit the creature's eye. The beast screamed and jerked its head to the side. Black blood dripped from the wound, but it didn't stop. It kept coming. Sarah dove to the side, just as the beast's claws smashed into the ground where she had stood. The impact created a crater 3 feet deep. Sarah rolled, got up, and ran. But not away. She ran toward the cave entrance where the cubs were hiding. She had to keep the beast's attention on her. She had to keep it away from them. In the trees above, hidden watchers high in the branches, 3 adult Krolix warriors watched the scene below. They had been hunting in this area when they heard the void beast's roar. Now they saw something impossible, a human, fighting their ancient enemy, protecting their cubs. The leader of the group was named Theron. He was massive, even for a His scales were dark with age. His claws had killed 100 enemies. She fights, Theron said quietly. His voice was deep and rough. For our young, another warrior added. His name was Vex. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. The third warrior, a female named Kira, growled softly. Humans never help us. They fear us. They hate us. This one is different, Theron said. They watched as Sarah fought below. They could end this fight in seconds. 3 adult Krolix warriors could kill a void beast easily, but they didn't move. They needed to see something. They needed to understand, why was this human doing this? Sarah's back hit the rock wall next to the cave entrance. She was trapped. The void beast stood 10 feet away, blocking any escape route. Blood dripped from Sarah's arm where a claw had caught her. Her uniform was torn. Her plasma torch flickered. The battery was almost dead. She was going to die. She knew it now. But behind her in the cave she heard the cubs. They were safe. They were alive. That was enough. The void beast moved forward slowly now. It knew the fight was over. It opened its mouth wide, showing rows of terrible teeth. Sarah raised her plasma torch one more time. Her hand didn't shake anymore. She wasn't afraid now. She had made peace with her choice. Come on then, she whispered. The beast lunged forward. Sarah closed her eyes. Then she heard something, a sound like thunder mixed with fury. 3 massive shapes dropped from the trees. The adult Krolix had arrived. Theron hit the void beast from the side with the force of a speeding vehicle. His claws dug deep into the beast's black flesh. Vex attacked from the other side, his blade flashing in the sunlight. Kira went for the throat, her teeth finding the soft spot under the beast's jaw. The battle lasted less than a minute. The void beast fell with a final roar that echoed through the forest. Then it was silent. Dead. Sarah slid down the rock wall, sitting in the dirt. Her arm hurt, her whole body hurt, but she was alive. The 3 Krolix warriors turned to look at her. For a long moment, nobody moved. Human and predator stared at each other. Then slowly, carefully, the mother Krolix, Kira, approached. Her red eyes studied Sarah carefully. She could kill this human with one swipe of her claw. Instead, she knelt down. Behind Sarah, the 3 cubs crawled out of the cave. When they saw their mother, they ran to her, making happy sounds. Kira touched each cub gently, checking them for injuries. They were fine, not even scratched. She looked back at Sarah. Sarah tried to smile, but she was too tired. Blood covered her arm. Her vision was getting blurry. They're safe, Sarah whispered. Her voice was barely audible. The cubs are safe. Then Sarah fell sideways. Her eyes closed. Theron moved forward quickly. He caught Sarah before she hit the ground. Her body was so small in his massive claws, so fragile he felt her pulse. Weak, but still there. She's dying, Vex said quietly. Kira looked at the human who had saved her children. This small, weak creature who should have run, who should have saved herself but didn't. Take her to our healers, Kira said. Quickly, but she's human, Vex said, confused. We don't save humans. Kira looked at her cubs, then at Sarah's unconscious face. She saved them, Kira said simply. Now we save her. Theron lifted Sarah carefully. The warriors moved through the forest faster than any human could run. Every second counted. But as they ran, they all knew the truth. Sarah's wounds were too deep. She had lost too much blood. Their healers were good, but they might not be good enough. Sarah Chen had saved the cubs, but saving herself might be impossible. The narrator's voice returns. The Krolix predators had killed thousands of enemies, but they had never seen courage like this. What happened next broke every rule in their culture. Sarah Chen lay on a metal table, tubes connected to her body. Green liquid flowed through them. Krolix medicine designed for predator bodies, not human ones. 3 healers worked around her. Their claws moved carefully, stitching wounds that should have killed her. They worked in silence, focused and determined. Outside the chamber, Theron, Kira and Vex waited. They had never waited for a human before. They had never cared if a human lived or died, but this was different. Hours passed. Then the door opened. The head healer stepped out. His name was Zorak. He was old, his scales gray with age. "She lives," Zorak said simply. Kira released a breath she didn't know she was holding. Her cubs were safe because of Sarah. She owed this human a debt. But, Zorak continued, she will never be the same. Her body is broken. She may never walk again. The pain will follow her forever. The warriors were silent. Sarah had given everything, her future, her health, her normal life, for cubs that were not even her species. "What do we do now?" Vex asked quietly. Theron looked at the closed door where Sarah lay sleeping. "We call the council. This matter is too big for us to decide alone." 3 days later, the Great Hall of the Krolix. The Great Hall was massive, carved from black stone thousands of years ago. Torches burned on the walls, casting dancing shadows. The ceiling was so high it disappeared into darkness. 50 Krolix leaders sat in a circle. These were the elders, the warriors, the judges of their people. Each one had lived for over 100 years. Each one had seen countless battles. In the center of the circle, Theron stood. Beside him were Kira and Vex. They had been called to tell Sarah's story. At the head of the circle sat High Elder Malcolm. He was ancient, nearly 200 years old. His scales were almost white. His eyes had seen the rise and fall of empires. "Speak," Malkor commanded. His voice still held power despite his age. Theron stepped forward. 3 days ago, a void beast attacked in the southern forest. It found 3 cubs alone. It would have killed them. The council members shifted. Losing cubs was every parent's nightmare. But someone stopped it, Theron continued. A scientist named Sarah Chen. She had no weapons, no armor, no training, but she fought anyway. Murmurs spread through the hall. Humans fighting for Krolix. Impossible. Kira spoke next. "Sarah could have escaped. She chose to stay. She placed her body between the beast and my children. She fought until we arrived. She nearly died." "She die," Vex added. Her heart stopped twice in the healing chamber. Zorak brought her back both times. The hall fell silent. Finally, an elder named Gorath stood. He was known for his traditional views. "This is ... unusual. But why are we here? The human lived. That is good. We can send her home with our thanks." "No," Kira said firmly. "Thanks are not enough. She gave everything. She deserves more." "What more can we give?" another elder asked. Theron took a deep breath. "She deserves the honor of a warrior. She fought like one. She sacrificed like one. She should be remembered like one." The hall exploded with voices. "She is human, not Krolix. This breaks all tradition." Malkor raised his hand. Silence returned instantly. "Our law is clear," Malkor said slowly. "Only Krolix warriors earn blade honors. Only our people can have their names carved in metal. This has been our way for 2,000 years. Kira stepped forward. "Then our law is wrong." Gasps echoed through the hall. No one challenged the ancient laws. "My children are alive because of her," Kira continued, her voice strong. "She showed more courage than many warriors I have known. If she was Krolix, we would already be forging blades in her honor. Why should her species matter more than her actions?" "Because tradition matters," Gorath shouted. We honor A younger warrior stood. His name was Raxer. "Then what are we? Are we warriors who honor courage, or cowards who hide behind old rules?" More arguments erupted. The council was divided. Some agreed with tradition. Others felt something had changed. Something important. Malkor watched silently. He had led his people for 60 years. He had seen wars and peace. He had made hard decisions. But this was different. Finally, an ancient voice spoke from the shadows. "Perhaps you should check the OLD laws, the first laws." Everyone turned. An elderly Krolix emerged from a side chamber. He was Keeper Draven, guardian of the ancient texts. He was so old that many thought he was just a legend. Draven carried a massive book. The cover was made of metal and stone. The pages were yellow with age. He placed it on the center table with a heavy thud. "This," Draven said, "is the first code, written by our ancestors 1,000 years ago, when our species was young." He opened the book carefully. Dust fell from the pages. He turned them slowly, searching, then he stopped. "Here," Draven said. "Section 7, the Law of Protection." Malkor leaned forward. "Read it." Draven's old voice filled the hall. "Any being, of any world, who gives their life protecting Krolix young, becomes family. They are no longer stranger, no longer other. They are our blood. They are our honor. They deserve our highest tribute." The hall was completely silent. "Any being," Theron repeated quietly. "Not just Krolix." ANY being. Gorath shook his head. "That law was written for other predator species who lived here long ago, not for humans." It says ANY being. Raxa countered. "The law is clear." Draven closed the book. "Our ancestors were wiser than us. They knew that courage has no species. Honor has no face. Sacrifice needs no scales. Malkor stood slowly, every eye turned to him. Sarah Chen fought our enemy, the High Elder said. She protected our young. She nearly died doing so. And according to our oldest law, our first law, she has earned the right to be remembered. He paused, looking at each council member. But this is not a small decision. If we honor her, we change everything. We open a door that has been closed for 1,000 years, where you say that others, not just Krolix, can be worthy of our highest honors. She is worthy, Kira said firmly. Malkor nodded slowly. Then we vote. All in favor of honoring Sarah Chen with warrior blade rights. Rise. One by one, warriors stood. First Theron, Kira, and Vex, then Raxer, then others. Younger warriors mostly, but some elders too. More than half the council stood. Goroth remained seated, but even he did not argue further. The law was clear. The vote was done. Malkor struck his staff on the ground 3 times. The sound echoed like thunder. It is decided, he declared. Sarah Chen will be the first non-Krolix to receive warrior blade honors. Her name will be forged on blades. Her sacrifice will be remembered. He paused, then added something that surprised everyone. But not just on blades. Her name will be forged on every warrior's blade. Every Krolix who carries a weapon will carry her memory. This is my command. The council erupted again, but this time not an argument. In shock, in awe. Every blade. That had never been done before. Even the greatest Krolix heroes had their names on only a few hundred blades. But Sarah, she would be on 10,000 blades. One for every warrior alive. And every warrior born after would receive the same. Sarah Chan's name would be eternal. Theron felt something strange in his chest. Pride, but not for his people. For a human, there is one more thing, Malkor said. Send a message to the human government. Tell them what happened. Tell them what we decided. And invite Sarah's family to the forging ceremony. He looked at Kira. Your cubs live because of her. You will be the one to tell her, when she wakes, what honor she has earned. Kira bowed her head. It will be my privilege. High Elder. That night, Sarah's healing chamber. Sarah opened her eyes slowly. Everything hurt. The room was dark except for soft red lights. Kira sat beside her bed. The large predator looked almost gentle in the dim light. You're awake, Kira said softly. Sarah tried to speak. Her throat was dry. Kira helped her drink water from a strange cup. The cubs, Sarah whispered. Safe, Kira replied. Because of you. Sarah smiled weakly. Good, you did something today that will echo through history, Kira continued. You changed everything between our species. I just wanted to help, Sarah said. I know, Kira said. That's why what happens next is so important. Admiral James Wright sat at his desk, staring at the message on his screen. He read it 3 times, then a 4th time. It still didn't make sense. They want to do what? He said to his assistant. Honor a human scientist. Sir, Lieutenant Park replied, with their highest warrior ceremony. They're inviting her family to attend. Admiral Wright leaned back in his chair. Humans and Krolix had been at war for 20 years. The peace treaty was only 5 years old. Trust was still fragile. And now the predators wanted to honor one of their people. Is this some kind of trick? Wright asked. We don't think so, sir. Our diplomats on Xeron 7 confirmed the story. Sarah Chen really did save Krolix cubs. She nearly died doing it. Wright rubbed his face. Find her family immediately and send a diplomatic team to the Krolix homeworld. I want to know exactly what's happening. 2 weeks later, a small apartment on Earth. Margaret Chen opened her door to find 2 people in military uniforms standing outside. Mrs. Chen, the woman asked gently. I'm Commander Sarah Kim. This is Captain Torres. May we come in? Margaret's heart dropped. Official visits were never good news. Is it Sarah? Is my daughter okay? Margaret asked, her voice shaking. Your daughter is alive, ma'am, Commander Kim said quickly. But something happened. Something important. We need to talk. Inside, Margaret sat on her couch. Her younger daughter Lisa sat beside her holding her mother's hand. Commander Kim explained everything. The cubs, the void beast, the fight, the injuries. Sarah is recovering, Kim said. But there's more. She told them about the council decision, about the blade ceremony, about the unprecedented honor the Krolix wanted to give Sarah. Margaret listened in silence. Tears rolled down her face. She always loved helping things, Margaret whispered. Even as a child, she would bring home injured birds, stray cats, anything that needed help. Lisa wiped her own eyes. Is she really okay? Can we see her? The Krolix have invited you to their homeworld, Captain Torres said. For the ceremony, you'll see Sarah there. Margaret looked up. Their homeworld. The Predator planet. I know it sounds scary, Commander Kim said gently. But the Krolix have guaranteed your safety. They've never broken a promise. Not once. Margaret looked at Lisa. Her younger daughter nodded. When do we leave? Margaret asked. 3 weeks later, Krolix homeworld Forge District. The forging district was like nothing humans had ever seen. Massive stone buildings lined the streets. Smoke rose from 100 chimneys. The sound of hammers hitting metal echoed everywhere. Inside the Grand Forge, 50 Krolix weapon masters worked day and night. Each one was an artist. Each blade took 10 hours to create. Master Forger Torvik supervised everything. He was old, even for his claws were scarred from a lifetime of working with hot metal. He held up a newly finished blade. The metal glowed soft blue. Sarah's name was carved in the center, surrounded by ancient symbols. Beautiful, his apprentice said. It must be perfect, Torvik replied. Every blade must be perfect. This human gave everything. We give nothing less. The apprentice hesitated. Master, why are we doing this? She's not Krolix. Torvik set down the blade carefully. Because courage is courage. Honor is honor. It doesn't matter what skin you wear or what world you're from. What matters is what you do when it counts. He picked up another piece of metal. Now get back to work. We have 9,000 more blades to make. The landing platform. 3 days before the ceremony, a human ship descended slowly onto the Krolix landing platform. It was small compared to the massive Krolix vessels around it. Margaret and Lisa Chen stepped off the ship, holding hands tightly. Commander Kim and a security team walked with them. Waiting on the platform was Kira with her 3 cubs beside her. Margaret froze. She had seen pictures of Krolix before, but seeing one in person was different. Kira was huge, powerful, terrifying, but then Kira did something unexpected. She knelt down, a Krolix warrior, kneeling before humans. Mrs. Chen, Kira said, her voice deep but gentle. I am Kira, your daughter saved my children. There are no words for what I owe you, what we all owe you. Margaret's fear melted. She saw something in Kira's eyes, something she understood. Mother to mother. Where is Sarah? Margaret asked. I will take you to her, Kira said. But first, ... The 3 cubs stepped forward. They were young, but already bigger than adult humans. They looked nervous. The smallest cub held something in his claws. A flower. Not an earth flower. An alien one with silver petals. He held it out to Margaret. For you, the cub said in broken English. Thank you. For Sarah, for my life. Margaret took the flower. Tears filled her eyes again. Lisa knelt down to the cub's level. You're welcome, she said softly. Sarah would be happy to know you're safe. The healing center, Sarah's room. Sarah sat in a chair by the window. She could walk now, but slowly. The doctors said she was lucky to be alive. The injuries would heal, but some scars would stay forever. She was watching the alien sunset when the door opened. Sarah turned. Her eyes went wide. Mom, Lisa, they ran to her. All 3 embraced, crying and laughing at the same time. You're okay, Margaret said, holding her daughter tight. Thank God you're okay. I'm sorry, I scared you, Sarah said. Don't apologize, Lisa said. You're a hero. Sarah shook her head. I just did what anyone would do. No, Kira's voice came from the doorway. Most would have run. You stayed. That's why we honor you. Margaret looked at Kira. Thank you for saving her, after she saved your cubs. We are even, Kira said. But also, we are family now. That is our law. The day of the ceremony, the Great Plaza could hold 50,000 Krolix. Today, it was completely full. In the center, a massive stage had been built. Behind it, 10,000 blades were arranged in rows, each one glowing with soft blue light. Sarah stood backstage with her family. She wore a special robe the Krolix had made for her, white with blue symbols of honor. She was nervous. More nervous than she'd ever been. You'll be fine, Commander Kim said. Just walk out there. Let them see you. There are so many, Sarah whispered. They're here for you, Lisa said, squeezing her hand. High Elder Malkor stepped onto the stage. His voice boomed across the plaza. Today, we do something that has never been done before. Today, we honor a human, not because we must, but because she earned it. The crowd was silent. Sarah Chen had a choice, to save herself, or save cubs who were not her kind. She chose courage. She chose sacrifice. She chose honor. Malkor raised his hand. Bring her forward. Kira led Sarah onto the stage. 10,000 Krolix warriors stood as one. The sound was like thunder. Sarah looked out at the crowd. So many faces, so many warriors, all here for her. She felt small, overwhelmed. But then she saw Margaret and Lisa in the front row, smiling with tears in their eyes. She saw Kira's cubs, watching her with wide eyes, and she understood. This wasn't about her being special. This was about showing that anyone could be brave. Anyone could choose to help. Anyone could make a difference. Melkor handed Sarah a blade. It was beautiful, silver metal with blue light running through it. Her name carved in the center. This is the first blade, Malkor said. It belongs to you. Keep it. Remember what you did. Remember what it means. Sarah took the blade carefully. It was heavier than she expected. Then something amazing happened. One by one, every warrior in the plaza drew their blade. 10,000 weapons rose into the air. Each one had Sarah's name on it. The sunlight caught the metal. 10,000 blades glowed like stars. From this day forward, Malkor announced, every Krolix warrior will carry your name. Every battle we fight, you fight with us. Every enemy we face, you face with us. Your courage is our courage. Your honor is our honor. The warriors struck their blades against their armor in unison. The sound echoed like a heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. Sarah couldn't speak, couldn't move. She just stood there, overwhelmed by the sight. Margaret Chen watched her daughter standing on that stage, surrounded by alien warriors who honored her. She thought about Sarah as a little girl, bringing home injured animals. Her daughter had the same heart now, just bigger after the public ceremony. There was a smaller gathering, just Sarah's family, the council members, and Kira's family. Torvik, the master forger, presented Margaret with a special blade, pure, silver, perfect. The first blade goes to Sarah, Torvik said. But the second blade, the most beautiful blade, goes to the mother who raised such a daughter. Margaret held the blade, crying. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for honoring her, for seeing what I've always seen. Kira's cubs played with Lisa, showing her Krolix games. The language barrier didn't matter. Children understood each other. Sarah sat with Theron, Vex, and Kira. What happens now? Sarah asked. Now. Kira said. Now things change. You change them. I don't understand. Sarah said. Theron leaned forward. Every warrior carrying your blade made a promise to honor what you showed us. That protecting the weak is not weakness. That helping others is strength. We were warriors, Vex added. Now we must be something more. Sarah looked at her blade again, her name glowing in the metal. She thought about the cubs playing nearby, about the warriors who honored her, about the bridge being built between two species that had been enemies, all because she chose to run toward danger instead of away from it. I'm just one person, Sarah said quietly. Yes, Kira replied, but one person can change everything. Young warrior Rennick stood in the training circle, breathing hard. Sweat dripped from his scales. His instructor, Master Vex, circled him slowly. Again, Vex commanded. Rennick raised his blade. Sarah's name glowed on the metal. He had received it 3 months ago, on his graduation day. Every young warrior got their blade at 18 years old. But now the blade meant something different than it did before. Tell me, Vex said, why do you carry that name? Rennick lowered his blade, confused. Because it's tradition now. Wrong. Vex stopped walking. Try again, Rennick thought carefully. He looked at the name carved in his blade. Sarah Chen, the human who changed everything because she showed us what real strength is. Rennick said slowly, not just fighting, but protecting. Vex nodded. Better. What does that mean for you? It means ... Rennick struggled with the words. It means when I see someone in danger, I help them, even if they're not Krolix, even if they're weak, even if it costs me, even if they're human. Vex asked. Rennick hesitated. Years of old thinking warred with new understanding. Then he looked at his blade again. Yes, Rennick said firmly, even if they're human. Vex smiled, showing his teeth. Good, because that promise is about to be tested. Emergency Communications Center. Later that day, High Elder Malkor stood in the communication room, listening to the distress signal. His face was grim. Play it again, he ordered. The recording crackled to life. A human voice, desperate and afraid. This is Colony Station Perseus. We are under attack. Pirates, 3 ships. They have weapons. We have no defense. We need help, please. Anyone, we have children here. Please. The message cut off. Malkor looked at the council members around him. Theron was there. Kira Gorath, the traditional elder who had opposed honoring Sarah. A human colony, Gorath said slowly, in the outer rim, far from their military. 3 pirate ships, Theron added, probably Scourge raiders. They take slaves, steal resources. The colony has no weapons, Kira said. They're scientists. Families. Like Sarah was. Everyone was silent. Finally, Gorath spoke. Our treaty with humans says we don't have to help with internal problems. Pirates attacking a human colony is their problem, not ours. Legally, you're correct, Malkor said. Gorath asked, hearing the tone in Malkor's voice. Malkor walked to the window. He could see the training grounds below. Young warriors practicing, each one carrying Sarah's blade. 6 months ago we made a promise, Malkor said quietly. When we put Sarah's name on our blades, we said we would honor what she showed us. He turned back to face the council. She could have walked away. It wasn't her problem. Those cubs weren't her species, but she helped anyway. Theron understood immediately. If we ignore this distress call, we break that promise. Yes, Malkor said. Gorath shook his head. You want to send Krolix warriors to save humans, our old enemies, for a promise to one person? Not one person, Kira said. She stood up, her voice strong. 10,000 warriors carry her name. 10,000 warriors made that promise. Are we liars? Do our words mean nothing? Gorath was silent. Malkor made his decision. Theron, take 3 warships, full battle crews. Go to Perseus colony. Save those humans. Theron bowed. It will be done, High Elder. As Theron turned to leave, Malkor called out, Theron, take young Rennick with you. Let him see what carrying that blade really means. Space. 4 hours later, 3 Krolix warships cut through space at maximum speed. Their engines glowed red against the darkness. On the command deck of the lead ship, Theron stood with his arms crossed. Beside him, young Rennick tried not to show his nervousness. First real mission? Theron asked. Yes, Commander, Rennick replied. Scared? Yes, Commander. Theron smiled slightly. Good, fear keeps you alert, but don't let it control you. The navigation officer called out, Perseus colony in visual range. On the main screen, they saw it, a small space station orbiting a green planet, and around it, like predators circling prey, 3 pirate ships. Even from a distance, they could see weapons, fire. The pirates were shooting at the station. Parts of it were on fire. Battle stations, Theron commanded. All weapons ready. Alarms blazed. Warriors rushed to their positions. The ship hummed with energy as weapons systems came online. Rennick felt his heart pounding. His hand touched his blade. Sarah's name seemed to pulse with light. Perseus Colony inside. Dr. James Martinez held his daughter close. Emma was only 7 years old. She was crying. Around them, 30 other colonists huddled in the emergency shelter. The walls shook with each impact. Smoke filled the air. "Daddy, I'm scared," Emma whispered. "I know, baby, I know." James held her tighter. Another explosion. Closer this time. "They're breaking through the outer hull," someone shouted. James closed his eyes. They were going to die. All of them. The pirates would get in soon. Then, suddenly, the shaking stopped. The weapons fire ceased. Everyone looked up, confused. "What happened?" someone asked. A voice came over the emergency speakers, but it wasn't human. It was deep, rough, speaking English with a thick accent. "Human colony, this is Krolix Commander Theron. We heard your distress call. Hold position. We are engaging the enemy." The shelter erupted in shocked voices. "Krolix, the predators, they came to help us." "That's impossible." James didn't care if it was impossible. He held his daughter and hoped. Space the battle. The 3 Krolix warships hit the pirates like a hammer. Theron's ship fired first. Energy, weapons blazing. The nearest pirate ship's shields exploded in a shower of sparks. "Target their engines," Theron ordered. "Disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners." The Krolix ships were faster, better armed, better trained. The pirates realized quickly they were outmatched. They were trying to run. The tactical officer reported. "Don't let them," Theron said coldly. The Krolix ships spread out, surrounding the pirates. It took less than 10 minutes. All 3 pirate ships were disabled, drifting in space. "Casualties?" Theron asked. "None on our side, Commander. The pirates have multiple injuries." "Good, send boarding parties. Arrest them all." Theron turned to Rennick. "Come with me. We're going to the colony." Perseus Colony docking bay. The colonists gathered nervously in the docking bay. They had never seen a Krolix ship up close. It was huge, dark, intimidating. The airlock opened with a hiss. Theron stepped through first, 8 feet tall, covered in scales, red eyes glowing. People gasped. Some stepped back. Parents pulled children closer. Theron stopped. He understood their fear. 6 years ago, his people and theirs had been killing each other. He raised his hands slowly, showing he held no weapons. "We are not here to hurt you," Theron said. His voice echoed in the bay. "We are here to help." Dr. Martinez stepped forward. Emma held his hand tightly. You saved us," James said. "What?" Theron reached for his blade. People flinched, but he just held it up so they could see. "Do you see this name?" Theron asked, pointing to the glowing letters. James squinted. "Sarah Chen. Yes, Sarah Chen, a human scientist. She saved Krolix cubs 6 months ago. She nearly died doing it. We honored her. Every warrior now carries her name." Theron lowered the blade. "When we put her name on our blades, we made a promise. To protect those who cannot protect themselves. To help those in need, even if they are not our species." He looked around at all the frightened faces. "You needed help. We came. That is the promise." Little Emma let go of her father's hand. She walked toward Theron slowly. Her parents tried to stop her, but she kept walking. She stopped in front of the huge warrior. She had to look way up to see his face. "Thank you," Emma said in her small voice. Theron knelt down, making himself smaller, less scary. "You are welcome, little one." Emma looked at his blade. "Sarah Chen, is she nice?" Theron's rough face softened. "Yes, very nice. She would like you." Behind Theron, young Rennick watched this scene. He thought about his training, about the question Vex had asked him. Would you help humans? Now he knew the answer. Not just in his head. In his heart. Yes, because that's what the blade means. 2 weeks later, Galactic News Network. The story spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Krolix warriors saving humans. Old enemies working together. Pirates defeated not by human military, but by predator intervention. Every news channel covered it. Every planet discussed it. In a fancy office on Earth, Admiral Wright watched the news broadcast. He shook his head in amazement. 6 months ago, I would never have believed this, he said to Commander Kim. "Times change, sir," Kim replied. "No," Wright said. "People change. Because one person showed them how." Even Gorath had to admit it. The mission to Perseus Colony changed things. 3 more human colonies have requested Krolix protection, he reported to Mal. 5 alien species have asked for treaties with us. They see us differently now. "Because we are different," Malkor said. "One rescue mission did all this?" Gorath asked. "No," Kira said. "She stood nearby with Theron. Sarah did this. We just followed her example." Malkor nodded. "For 2,000 years, we were feared. Now, we are also respected, all because of one human's courage." He looked at the blade on his belt. Sarah's name glowed softly. I wonder if she knows, Malcor said quietly, if she understands what she started. Sarah worked at her desk, typing notes about a new plant species she had discovered. Her legs still hurt sometimes. The scars would never fully heal, but she was happy. Back to her work, back to her life. Her communication device beeped. A message from her mother. Sarah, have you seen the news? The Krolix saved those people because of you, because of what you did. Everyone is talking about it. I'm so proud of you.